Los Santos, the biggest city in San Andreas, a city that we know painfully well. In fact, we know the whole island very well. There really aren't many more places to explore. But pretty soon there will be. Because we're leaving San Andreas for realsies this time. We're actually going to a different place. We're going to Vice City. We know that. We know our timetable, and that really makes you think. What is still on my bucket list? And that eventually evolved into, what is my perfect road trip? No griefers, no messing about, no fear of death, just pure brilliance. We're not using any terrible cars like the Dinka here. This is only about the best of the best. So, now that the weather is actually starting to clear up, what is the objective? Apart from just driving a bunch of nice cars around, well, I wanted to see if my perfect road trip really is as perfect as, well, I think it is. See if you guys agree. Maybe you have your own ideas for a road trip. But basically, you take a brilliant car and you do a thing with it to drive to a location. Then you get at that location another vehicle. Maybe you do something special. Maybe it's just a change in vehicle on your route. And you go to the next location and do something else. It's very simple, very effective. And we're going to leave the Dinka behind and move on to our first car. This is the Benefactor Shafter V12 Armored. This has armor plating, bulletproof tires, and it's even explosive proof, at least to one bomb. It's also supremely fast. It's one of the fastest four-doors in the world. And I know I said that I shouldn't be afraid because there's no griefers, no one trying to kill me, but honestly, better be safe than sorry. When you're going through San Andreas, specifically Los Santos, you want to be safe. And if you want to be safe, this is one of the best vehicles you can get. It's rear-wheel drive, massive horsepower luxury sedan with a lot of armor plating to boot. This is an incredible vehicle for the city, which is why I've chosen it to drive through said city. And it's also just an absolute riot. I mean, so much power going to the rear wheels, you can properly slide this thing about. Even with the off-road tires, because off-road tires are both better for racing, faster on bumps, and also better off-road, so that you really want them in an armored vehicle should you have to escape from the roads where you might get ambushed. So, this is my perfect vehicle for the city, and in order to prove that, let me do a little bit of a demonstration. Okay, so it just drove over a mine, and it is in perfect shape. Albeit upside down, and now it's on fire. That's the fuel tank. Yeah, I forgot that the fuel tank might rupture on these sometimes if you hit them just right on an explosive or a gunshot. I forgot that was a problem on these. Well, damn. So, I got my second choice, and decided to dream a little bigger for my demonstration. The P-996 laser fighter jet is about to do some strafing runs on a significantly improved decision for my best armored vehicle in driving through the city. With the strafing runs over, I ran over to my vehicle to see the damage. Look at that, it still have a scratch on it. I know the bullets from those were nerfed a while ago, but I mean, the HVI Night Shark here... Okay, so I broke a window. But on the whole, this is in pristine condition. Alright, just plow through these cars, no big deal. Man, I love this thing. It's massive, it's bulletproof, it's bomb-proof for realsies this time, it's fighter jet strafing proof, and it's surprisingly quick. Like, alarmingly quick, which is especially because you can't see out of it, because there's so much bulletproof plating everywhere. But this thing is seriously fast for what it is. I mean, it's not going to break any lap records or anything like that. It's not going to set a speed record, but it can certainly scoot its way out of a sketchy position very quickly. And it can even shoot back if you're in the right place. It's got those front-mounted machine guns, and then you can shoot out the back with your gun, with the guns that you're holding in your hand. Yeah. I feel perfectly safe waiting at this red light in the smack dab of Los Santos. But still, I didn't want to sit there forever, and I decided to move on briskly through my journey without any interference of any kind to my first destination. Okay, the Night Shark has been fun, but we're at the casino now, and well, I was really wishing it wasn't raining because my next vehicle doesn't deserve the rain, if I'm honest. It's quite possibly my favorite car ever made. So, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the rain to stop, aren't we? But when the rain did stop, it was time for the unveiling. The vehicle that I'm driving to my next location is the Progen GP1, quite possibly the best car ever made. Naturally aspirated V12 in the middle, rear-wheel drive, gold plating on the engine bay interior. This is about as real as it gets. It looks stunning, is fast, and is one of the most significant cars ever made. The thing I love about this car, I've already mentioned the styling and the engine and the performance, but the thing I love most about this car, and the reason why I'm driving it on this leg of the journey and not later ones, is simply because I love how much care went into this model. It really does feel like everyone poured their heart and soul into this car. From the noise, the sensation behind the wheel, everything. It's a sensory overload of brilliance. And it's got, most importantly to me anyway, a bespoke interior, sound, and style. There's no carryovers, there's no repeated gauges, there's no repeated sounds, it doesn't sound like anything else, it doesn't look like anything else. And it was built completely from scratch. It looks amazing in here. It's simple but effective. You only see what you need to. The RPM gauge is in the center because that's all that matters. Sure, you have a speedo for legal sake, But you don't use a speedo while racing. You use your tachometer to make sure you shift right. Because if everything's in working order, you don't need a speedo because you're going flat out. That's what I love about this car. The attention to detail is immaculate. The handling is just a bonus. And this thing does handle really bloody well. I chose this slightly longer route to my overnight halt for that reason, because this is just so much fun in the corners. So it's got the noise, it's got the looks, it's got the handling, it's got the customization. Not customization, the style from the factory. It's a piece of art that you want to drive. There are pieces of art that you don't want to drive in fear of breaking them or in fear of, ruining their value. But this encourages you to drive. That is something truly special. But we're going to have to turn in for the night and pick our next car for the morning. That is the only downside of these road trips, is that I can't stay with that one just a little while longer. So, the next morning I was in my next car, driving to my next location, and as you can see, I'm heading into the mountain pass, the best driving road on the island. And, well, yeah, this is almost as good as the Progen behind previously. The Benefactor Sterling GT. I try not to use too many vehicles from the same make in this, but I can't help myself. This is, simply put it, a masterpiece. This is kind of the art car that I was afraid to drive that I mentioned earlier, because it is so similar. This is a Le Mans racer. It won Le Mans 1952. That's why it's got the paint. That's why it's got the wing on the back. That's why it's got the roll cage. It's the real deal, and you don't see those too often. It's also noteworthy because of this. Yep, that might just be the best sounding car in the world. It is a beautiful straight six cacophony going through those side-mounted, front fender-mounted exhausts. And because it is a classic race car, it's got those old cross-ply tires and a super light curb weight. It's phenomenal through these corners. It might actually be better through the corners than the Progen. I nearly crashed a priceless work of art there. Like I said about being afraid about driving these things, I'm torn because I'm very afraid to drive this thing, especially after that twitch, but it is another driver's car. You want to push it, you want to get the most out of it. But it's so scary because this is such a nice car and I really don't want to throw it off the side of a mountain. Luckily, I'm already at my destination. Short, but sweet. So I can't bin it. We're at the vineyard. We're about to enjoy some wonderful wine and a wonderful view after a wonderful drive in one of the most wonderful cars. That is the whole point of this road trip, and yet somehow we're only halfway through.